I got a patron request from Graham to review the Casagrandes movie, which is based on the Nickelodeon animated series. A few years ago, I reviewed the Loud House movie, despite not having watched an episode of that show, and the same holds true for the Casagrandes. So I'm pretty much looking at this from the perspective of someone who knows very little about the show. So does this movie work in any way for newcomers? Not really. It's pretty much exclusively for fans who are already familiar with the characters. With that said, I found it a watchful experience, even if largely unremarkable. Again, the filmmakers have made this with the expectation that anyone giving it a watch on Netflix has already seen the show and knows the characters and their personalities. For someone like me expecting to learn about this large family, I'm pretty much out of luck. Of the show's characters, the film only explores the lead protagonist, Ronnie Ann, and her mother, Maria, as the story is largely about their relationship. Aside from the uncle being a bookworm, I cannot tell you a single thing about the rest of the Casagrande family, as they mostly exist in the background with only the occasional joke thrown in. If there are any Easter eggs and running jokes they reference in the movie, they went over my head. Regarding the mother-daughter storyline, it seems like they were going for a Goofy movie type dynamic, with the family going on this big trip, which disrupts Ronnie Ann's plans and the friction caused by this, but I think the mother was made too much of a control freak. The mother was the one who really needed to learn a lesson, and the daughter is clearly the more sympathetic of the two as she's suddenly whisked off on this trip without warning. The mother comes across as demanding and too obsessed with her schedule. I personally found the most interesting character in the movie was a demi-goddess who longs to be a full goddess but is denied by her parents. Her arc and the way she teams up with Ronnie Ann centuries later was explored in an intriguing way, and she felt the most fleshed out of everyone in the movie. She also proved to be an entertaining character in her own right, along with having some interesting complexities. She could have easily been written as a standard villain, but the filmmakers avoided choosing that route and gave us an understanding for why she went down a certain path. The animation designs have an appealing look to them, especially when the movie launches into some of the big action scenes. It looks like they took advantage of the movie having a slightly bigger budget than the show by having the colors truly pop, particularly in the Mexico scenes, and the filmmakers even do some clever things with transitions. There's a scene where Ronnie Ann and her best friend are skateboarding together over the phone, and they do some neat things with a split screen. I noticed in the end credits that Franz Fischer was one of the animation supervisors, and he's been an animator and storyboard artist on several big productions at various studios. His most notable accomplishment was serving as the supervising animator on Darla Dimple and her butler Max in Cats Don't Dance, so it's great to see him bring his expertise to this movie. Humor-wise, the jokes are okay. I got some chuckles here and there, mostly involving visual gags or a few minor hijinks. Jorge Gutierrez has a fun cameo as a street vendor, and the movie even throws in quick nods to other Nickelodeon cartoons, which made me smile. Whoever came up with that gag must really want to see a Nicktoons crossover movie. My biggest criticism of the Casagrandes movie is I don't think this was a story that necessitated a feature film, and this could have been a special. Even though it only runs 75 minutes, not counting the end credits, the story was thin and it felt stretched out. In fact, it only takes about 45 minutes to reach the big action climax, and then they have that go on for quite a while. There's so much going on that I eventually got tired of it all and wondered when it would start to wrap up. While the focus should be on Ronnie Ann, her mother, and the demi-goddess, they keep cutting to the other family members and trying to involve them in the action. At a certain point, the film did eventually wear out its welcome, but it's harmless enough. Although much like the Loud House movie, I don't expect much from it to stick with me after I publish this review. I was never annoyed while watching the Casagrandes movie, even if the climax did go on for far too long, and I assume a fan of the show might be disappointed at a favorite character or two getting sidelined. I also don't know what it says that I found the most interesting character to be someone who's not even in the show. But overall, I thought this was an okay experience. But what do you think of the Casagrandes movie? If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for the request, Graham.